disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So, shocking moment. Shocking moment, ladies and gentlemen. Get out your recorders. Get out your phones. You might want to write this down. MSNBC is about to do something it has never done in the past few years. It's about to do some journalism. I can't believe it. MSNBC, the cable outlet, is about to reveal something. And some news that pretty much everybody kind of knows, but it's going to be a shock for the average MSNBC viewer. And shocking because this has to do with who's exactly paying for the American government to sponsor and basically pay Israel to be hitmen and create a genocide. We already kind of know about this, but it's amazing that you're about to hear this from Ali Velshi, who's an MSNBC host who's originally from Canada. And while he gets everything, established like with Ukraine and Russia and Trump and everything between, this may be the most shocking thing you would hear from someone like Velshi. This is the shocking moment that Ali Velshi is about to report the most journalistic fact to the audience. And just how crazy this is that this got allowed to be broadcast for 6 minutes on MSNBC. Watch this.
Israel Public Affairs Committee. It was incorporated in 1963. For 10 years prior to that, it was known as the American Zionist Committee for Public Affairs. AIPAC calls itself America's pro-Israel lobby, and according to its website, it has over 3 million members across the country in regional chapters working to, quote, expand and strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship, end quote. You may know AIPAC as being one of the biggest and most recognizable donors to many of the members of Congress in your state. But contributing to campaigns is a relatively new function of the organization. Before 2021, AIPAC did not endorse candidates nor give political contributions. Its focus was on lobbying elected officials, not actually electing officials. But in a dramatic shift in policy, AIPAC began directly funding candidates and spending big on races in 2021. AIPAC Political Action Committee, AIPAC-PAC, filed something called a Statement of Organization with the FEC just in time for the 2022 election cycle, where it spent $50 million, including both direct contributions to candidates and outside spending, like TV advertisements. According to AIPAC, it donated money to 365 candidates from both parties, including every single member of both Democratic and Republican leadership in Congress. 109 Republicans who voted against the certification of the 2020 presidential election in America received campaign contributions from AIPAC. All in all, AIPAC gave money to 342 members of the 118th Congress. The 2022 elections were the most expensive midterms in American history, with a total cost of $8.9 billion spent. Now, last year, AIPAC ranked 15th in total expenditure by a political action committee, according to data collected by Open Secrets. But take a look at the other funders that AIPAC is competing against for that title. Act Blue and Win Red. They are Democratic and Republican Party machines. Save America is Donald Trump's money-raising operation. The Conservative Club for Growth, Emily's List, focuses on electing Democratic women to office. All of the PACs on this list are massively domestic-focused ideological machines. AIPAC is the only organization in the top 20 whose interests are focused entirely on America's relationship to a foreign government. Now, let's take a look at who benefits from AIPAC's largesse.
That darn Putin. I can't believe we spent almost 6 years now, still continuing on, to say that Putin's a warmonger, Putin's this guy, Russia is handling our elections, they're interfering in democracy, it's ruining the country. And yet, here you are, being exposed to, not really a secret, but it's on Open Secrets, being exposed to who is actually funding your democracy, your so-called democracy. And Ali Velshi just pointed out that the only country, the only foreign relationship that's funneling directly to your campaigns is AIPAC. But no one cared about that. No one cares about AIPAC interfering in elections. But the minute someone mentions Russia or China or Venezuela or Cuba, as long as America, the intelligence community, hates them, then it's okay to hate them. But if it's AIPAC, if it's Bill Gates, if it's whatever Emily's list is, if it's any of these super PACs that we know are highly influential, highly corrupt, and will actually diminish the democratic process, they don't care. They don't care. Your democracy is a joke from the start. And that's why I laugh at the people that said January 6th was the day that democracy was threatened. No, your democracy was gone years ago. January 6th just showed that people were so pissed off at democracy, so pissed off at the American system that screwed them over countless times, that they need to cause a ruckus. The same ruckus that AOC told their campaign to bring on a ruckus, and they haven't done jack squat.
Here are the top 20 recipients in Congress, the House and the Senate, of AIPAC money in the 2022 midterm cycle, according to Open Secrets. They're members of both parties. They come from every corner of the country with varying levels of experience in Congress. The Democrat Glenn Ivey of Maryland tops the list. He beat out fellow Democrat Donna Edwards in Maryland's House primary after AIPAC poured millions into pro-Ivey advertisements and mailers. Edwards was running for a second stint in Congress after serving during the Obama administration, where she voted present, not even a no, on a number of pro-Israel resolutions. So,
I just want to point out, too, let me make this full screen here. There's a representative, Richie Torres. That is the one who's primary against Jose Vega. And if anyone knows who Jose Vega is, we mentioned multiple times on this channel here, Jose Vega, a great persona to amplify the voice of the working class people, to go against war, to go against the slush fund of the war machine. Of course, AIPAC has put $141,000 to go against Jose Vega. So just be aware of that. If anyone's in the New York area, I don't know which district, but if anyone knows about Richie Torres, just know who he's backed from. Just know who's paying for his campaign, and why someone like him would go after Jose Vega, someone who actually cares about humanity and democracy and wants to end the wars. I don't know, to feed people. What a selfish prick that person would be.
so the money poured in against her. Not even an endorsement from Nancy Pelosi could save her. Michigan Democrat Haley Stevens unseated Democratic Representative Andy Levin. Here's what Levin had to say about that.
I'm really Jewish, but AIPAC can't stand the idea that I am the clearest, strongest Jewish voice in Congress, standing for a simple proposition that there's no way to have a secure democratic homeland for the Jewish people unless we achieve the political and human rights of the Palestinian people.
AIPAC spent $4 million against Levin. He lost by 20 points. When Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib.
And you know what the funny part about this is that AIPAC funding comes from us. So we're funding this lobby group overseas to then have them pay us back by contributing to the elitist democratic scheme of paying for campaigns. Your tax dollars are paying for this lobby group to screw over your own democracy. And again, people are so angry about Russia. People are so angry about Russia and Vladimir Putin, but they don't care about openly supporting one of the biggest influential lobby groups in the world that's screwing deliberately with your elections. Deliberately screwing over democracy in America. And this has been going on for decades. Decades. So your democracy was not ruined on January 6th. It wasn't done by, gun nuts and Second Amendment people and Trumpers. It was done by globalists and Zionists that deliberately want to screw over the electoral process so that America is aiding Israel in their genocidal quest to wipe out Palestine.
The only Palestinian American in Congress was censured by the House in early November over what some lawmakers called her rhetoric around the Israeli-Hamas war. 22 Democrats joined Republicans in that censure vote. 18 of those Democrats received campaign funds from AIPAC in 2022, totaling more than $1.1 million. By the way, for these 6 of them, AIPAC was their top contributor. A growing list of progressive lawmakers who are vocal in their criticism of the government of Israel and its policies and their support for Palestinian self-determination have inspired AIPAC to spend even more. As progressive lawmakers began calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, Slate reported that insiders expect AIPAC's 2024 spending to hit $100 million. In fact, United Democracy Project, which is a pro-Israel super PAC affiliated with AIPAC, is already spending money on attack ads against Democratic Representatives Jamal Bowman of New York and Summer Lee of Pennsylvania. Lee has already got a primary challenger, as do Cori Bush and Ilhan Omar. Pro-Israel donors have already signaled that they are eager to primary Rashida Tlaib and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Congresswoman Lee already overcame AIPAC's financial influence against her once. She tweeted criticisms of Israel's treatment of Palestinians in 2021, but as a candidate, she affirmed Israel's right to exist. But that's not good enough. AIPAC spent nearly $3 million in the primary alone to defeat Lee, and they almost did. She beat Stephen Irwin, who is third on the list of money given to candidates by AIPAC in 2022, by less than 1,000 votes. And if Congresswoman Lee wants to keep her seat in 2024, she's going to have to do it all over again. She joins me in studio after this break.
Damn. And that is the last of Ali Velshi, ladies and gentlemen. Because saying a bombshell like that is definitely going to get you fired. That's definitely going to kick you back. They probably will demote him to like weekends or something. I mean, look at what they did to people that spoke out against war. Look at what they did to Phil Donahue, for example. Phil Donahue had a talk show, incredible talk show for many years, spoke out against the Iraq war at first, and they fired him immediately. They said it was because of the low ratings. No, it was because he spoke out against his advertisers, which I'm sure AIPAC is funding MSNBC also to promote the genocidal warfare and say that it's defensible war. Phil Donahue spoke out about it. Jesse Ventura spoke out about it. There's so many individuals that spoke out against war, but because war is being advertised through the mainstream media, the military contractors are paying the media to advertise the bloodshed, the destruction, and the tyrannicalness of war to promote as some sort of defensive thing. We don't get to hear this. We don't get to hear the real truth. We don't get to hear the influential decisions made by these global conglomerates like AIPAC that are really screwing over your democracy. That really democracy is a scheme. It's a goddamn scheme. You think that you're voting for your candidate that best represents you, that America has your best interests at heart. But now you're understanding that it's not just super PACs within America. It's not just the corporate state taking over democracy. It's foreign affairs like AIPAC that are screwing over your democracy. It's not Russia. It's not China. It's Israel. Which I've always said that Israel is not much of a country. It's more like a blackmail game. Like, that's all they have is intelligence and then screwing over nations if they turn the other cheek. They're trying to blackmail nations to be in line with them. That's all they have left. That's all they have. So, it makes you think. It makes you think that Ali Velshi, I don't know, it's a remarkable He's able to say this for 6 straight minutes and not be silenced out, not be canceled, not go to commercial. It's amazing they broadcast this. So I don't know. Maybe he's just done. Maybe he wants to quit, and this is the best way to do it. I don't know. But it's amazing. It's amazing that he was allowed to say that on MSNBC and inform the MSNBC viewer truly what foreign meddling really looks like in America. And that's the foreign meddling that America is okay with. It's okay if it's countries like Israel or Saudi Arabia that are personally destroying your democratic values. But if it's MAGA, if it's Trumpers, if it's anybody else, even the hoax of Russiagate, they go apeshit crazy. They want vengeance. They want vendetta. They want to make sure that the democratic process is secured and locked up. But it's okay if AIPAC, for millions, upwards to billions of dollars, of your tax dollars, by the way, your tax dollars being sent to AIPAC and then funnels back into slush funds for political campaigns to go against you, to go against politicians that represent you. That is corruption 101, ladies and gentlemen, and you will never hear this. Never hear this on any mainstream network, or not even mainstream podcasters, because I don't know Breaking Points would ever discuss this, or Kyle Kalinske, or Sam Cedar, or any of those people would ever bother to mention this. They're still up on the focus of Russiagate, the magical hoax that's been around for 6 years, and they still haven't figured out that it is a hoax. It's a fabricated hoax since day one. And someone like me can point it out, then obviously someone like them can point it out.